Okay, I think it's a good time to get started. So welcome to the Helix webinar series. Today's session, we're going to be covering customizing your digital workplace catalog for an enhanced user experience. Joining me today is Chaz Eddingfield, our IT services manager from the Cincinnati Insurance Companies. For those that may not already know, he's done a webinar already with us, which was around problem management. I will be sharing that link out when I send the thank you email. So it's a bit like part 2 for us. Before Chaz does his introduction, I'm just going to remind you that there is the Q&A section of Zoom. If you have a look at the bottom, during any time during his session, if you've got any questions, please put them in there. We will have roughly 15 to 20 minutes at the end. Obviously, that depends on how quick Chaz speaks. We may get involved in a little bit further conversation, so we will allocate some time at the end for you to speak. Up until that point, you will remain muted. So Chaz, I'm going to hand over the stage to you again to get us started. And just a reminder, we have got Kath and Brenda in background that will be answering some of the questions while you present. So over to you.
Great, thank you. Welcome everybody, and thanks for joining our webinar today. Like Sam said, my name is Chaz Eddingfield, and I work for the Cincinnati Insurance Companies in Cincinnati, Ohio. I'm excited to share our journey with BMC Helix and how we transformed our digital workplace catalog to enhance our users' experience. We'll begin this morning with an overview of our service management office and the ITIL processes that we are currently utilizing. Then I'll walk through where our journey with self-service catalogs began and where we are today. And then finally, I'll share some of our strategic goals and future direction as it relates to all things service catalog. So a little bit about me before we start. Again, my name is Chaz Eddingfield. I've worked for the Cincinnati Insurance Company for 28 years. I currently lead our IT service management office and have done so for the last 7 years. The previous 21 years, I was in our project management office. My background includes 20 plus years of project management experience deploying all types of projects, including our initial deployment of Remedy back about 15 years ago, in our first iteration into IT service management. Our service management office, or what we abbreviate to the SMO, includes 5 specialized teams. First is the service request analysts. They represent the business relationship management and work with all of our IT and business units on all things service requests and the like. Service management analysts, they work with all of our IT groups as change coordinators, and they will also work on other IT service management areas such as knowledge management, asset management, configuration management. Service management specialists, they are our ITIL process owners, and you'll see on the next slide a list of all of our ITIL or IT service management processes that we have in place today. Service management engineers, they are our BMC Helix developers. So they maintain our Helix instance. They do all configuration work, new development work within the Helix platforms. And lastly, the software asset management team. They do software licensing as it relates to all software contained within our organization. Together, we all drive ITIL adoption and service excellence across CIC, the Cincinnati Insurance Companies. Here's a shot of all of our ITIL processes that we have in place. Today, we've got 12 in place, with 1 being developed in service level management. Our journey began back in 2007 with change, incident, and asset and CMDB. Over time, we've added knowledge management, service request management, problem management, and many more. And we continue to look to expand our IT service management offerings to the organization. To do that, we utilize a lot of BMC Helix solutions. The tools we have in place today, we have IT service management, CMDB, discovery, Helix dashboards, Digital Workplace Advanced, which we'll talk about today, Innovation Suite. We have active projects around Helix GPT and the agents that BMC is offering to their customers. We've got a project on AI Ops going on today. And our roadmap for next year includes implementing business workflows and come around. So the goal of today's webinar is to show how we built a smarter, customized catalog using BMC's Helix Digital Workplace and the studio pages that come with Digital Workplace. This work effort has transformed how our users work and interact with IT, and we have shown that we have been able to deliver real business value throughout the years of using these tools. So now I'm going to talk about where we started in terms of our service catalog journey. Our first jump into service requests and service catalogs was with SharePoint. That was our service request portal. We had only 10 self-service options available to our customers on that SharePoint site. Self-help was limited to some documentation our customer support team made available on that site for our customers to use. Very limited usage. Mainly IT used it. Our service request analysts, or the SRAs, who work with the business units, they would submit requests on behalf of their customers, on behalf of the business units. So very, very limited use of outside of IT on our service catalog. Manual processes were still being used. Again, customers and on the business side would call their service request analyst, or they'd call customer support to get assistance. Then we decided to move towards Helix Digital Workplace. And now I'll talk about that journey. So some of the drivers for the change to move from our manual processes using SharePoint, we had a few needs that we wanted to address. The first was we wanted a centralized service catalog. Not only did we have requests that were available on that SharePoint site, but there were requests, business-related requests, scattered across our intranet site. So we wanted to pull all that into one central location. We wanted to provide a more simple way to obtain status of requests. Again, before, when we were using SharePoint, which those service requests did link into Remedy, it was very hard for the customer to get a status. They'd have to call someone in IT to get a status of their request. We wanted to reduce or eliminate manual service request entry. Again, it's very time consuming and often went to the wrong groups from a routing perspective. So we wanted to reduce or eliminate that manual entry and make it easier for our customers and the end groups, support groups, to fulfill those requests. And we also wanted to provide a mobile off-network capability. If our network was down, we lost the ability to report incidents. We lost the ability to submit these service requests. We needed something that was in the cloud that was available to us 24/7. Some of the benefits that we were looking to realize in this journey: one, provide a solution that supports how associates want to work. Everyone utilizes Amazon and other online services to request something, whether they're buying or requesting support for their internet or their TV providers. So everyone was comfortable with that route on how to request help. So we wanted a solution that mirrored that. We wanted to move away from customizations to configurations. So we wanted to get out of the world of customizing our solution, because that makes upgrades much more difficult. So we wanted to move to a solution that allowed us to configure what we needed to get done. We wanted to reduce calls to customer support. Up to this point, every incident, every problem went to customer support. So we wanted to reduce the amount of noise and calls to customer support to allow them to focus on the more important things. As I mentioned on the previous slide, we wanted to reduce the manual entry of our service requests, providing that mobile access to our service catalog on and off the network. And we wanted to enhance our outage notifications. Like many other organizations, our services go down. So we wanted to have a solution that allowed better notification, more targeted notifications to our customers when the services they relied on are unavailable. So in September of 2000, we received approval to purchase Digital Workplace Advanced, and we worked with a support partner along this journey as well. So they've been with us since the beginning. By the end of November, December timeframe of 2020, so that error on that first, it was 2020, September 2020, we got approval. The scope of our work was defined by December of 2020. We realized that we couldn't rebuild all of our service requests. We migrated some and we rebuilt some in Digital Workplace. That migration and development work began January of 2021, and we completed and went live in August of 2021. So we rebranded Digital Workplace and we call it the Service Request Center. So that's what our customers are familiar with, and that's where they go to request services. So our first iteration of the Service Request Center contained 100 service requests, all organized on a single page, and was categorized into different sections on that single page. This slide, yes, it's kind of ugly, very small, but this is what our customers came in to see. They would see all the requests, like I said on the previous slide, all 100 some requests on one single page. Yes, they were categorized in different sections, but they had to know where to go, and they often had to scroll up and down, left and right to find the particular service request that they were interested in or needed to submit. Very time consuming and not very user friendly for our first iteration of the Service Request Center.
Chas, can I ask a question on this one?
Yes, please.
How did people know which one to select? Is the name, or how do they actually know? Because there are so many.
So we relied on them knowing the name of the service request that they needed. And often they submitted the wrong request because they didn't know exactly what they needed, or they thought that this request was the one that they should submit, leading to delays in them getting what they were requesting. So it's not very, not very intuitive on which requests, because we were kind of just working within what we had available to us. When you select one of those, it does come up with a better description of the pages or of the request. But again, when you've got someone coming in here that's not familiar with technology, or business folks, often they struggle selecting the correct one.
Did you offer some training, or how did people know what to select, or was it just?
So we have yes. So we when we deploy new things like this, we do a couple things. One, we advertise and communicate on our what we call the bridge, which is our corporate intranet site. We also do what we call What's Up Wednesdays. So every month on a Wednesday, we do a presentation or a demo of new solutions. So we did a What's Up Wednesday for the Service Request Center that actually was very well attended across the organization. And those videos are stored in a library that people can go back and look at after the fact.
Okay, great, thanks.
Yeah, thank you. So when we set off on this journey to move to BMC Helix Digital Workplace, we set some goals that we wanted to hit within 3 years. The first was to improve our ticket entry and workflow. And the start of that was the creation of the 100 self-service requests that we made available. We wanted to improve our incident routing. So we went through an effort to create auto routing incidents. What these are is, in the past, before we had this in place, every time someone had an incident, a problem, they would call customer support. And many times, these incident tickets would go directly, customer support would do nothing with them. They could not do anything with them. So they would route them directly to the appropriate IT support group to address. With these auto routing incidents, no longer does customer support get involved in these particular incidents that they never did anything with. So customers will go to the Service Request Center. They are very specific auto routing incidents. The name is very clear. They know that this is for my particular issue. They fill out the form and it goes directly to the support team. So no longer is customer support involved, and it gets those incidents over to the support teams to address much quicker, reducing mean time to resolve and improving customer satisfaction. 3 is very similar to 2, reducing that dependency on customer support to log incidents. So some of those self-service tickets, one is a general incident request. So if you have a low priority incident and you don't want to have to call customer support and potentially wait on the phone, you can use the general incident request and it goes to customer support. They will then pick it up in their queue and they will address that incident appropriately. We also have a high priority after hours request. So when customer support is offline at, I believe it's 6 p.m., customers can use this high priority after hours request in the event that there's a potential outage. And again, we've educated folks on the correct uses of this. It's not, hey, I can't print my sports information, but it's, I can't access this application to do my business, to do underwriting, to whatever it is they may need to do. And those high priority after hours requests route directly to the appropriate support team based on the product that they selected. And not talking about it today, but we built an on-call solution that ties in with this high priority after hours request that then sends the on-call associate a text letting them know, hey, a high priority ticket has been submitted to your group. Go log in and see what's going on. And then again, the auto routing self-service requests that we've created, that again, reducing the need for customer support to log those incidents. And the fourth goal we wanted was to improve knowledge. We wanted to provide self-help opportunities to allow people to fix problems themselves without having to call customer support or their favorite IT resource. And to assist with this, we have, as I mentioned on a previous slide, we've started working on Helix GPT. We've got 4 GPT agents that we are looking to deploy here in the next month or two that will help with this as well. So this slide represents some of the improvements, the efficiencies that we've realized over the last few years since we started this effort in 2022. And this is actually projecting out through the end of 2025 where we expect to be. So the orange bar is our self-service tickets. So from 2022 to 2023, we had a 541% increase in the usage of self-service tickets. And then we continue to see an increase in that usage through 2024 and expect to see through the end of 2025. The blue bar represents the auto routing incidents. We had a 494% usage increase from 2022 to 2023. And again, we continue to see that trend increase through the end of this year. And the green bar represents our calls to customer support. Again, one of the goals was to reduce the calls that they receive through automation, through the self-service opportunities. As you can see, that is with the exception of a little bit of a bump in 2024, which could be reflected by new deployments of security tools or software on laptops, or new deployments of enterprise solutions that, as I'm sure you all realize, when you deploy something new, there's always going to be issues and questions. So what do? They call customer support. Yeah. So again, but the important thing is to see is the trend, close to 40,000 calls to customer support in 2022, and what we project to be under 20,000 calls to customer support by the end of this year.
This is impressive, right? And yeah. How about the work on the back end? Are they still getting the same number of tickets to resolve, or do they get more, or did you automate things or you reduce that workload, or what happens on the back end when it looks like it is more tickets now than before, but some come in through self-service and some come in through the phone.
Correct.
How does that work?
So we have not increased, and that was the concern of some of our service managers that we've worked with on the auto routing incidents. They felt that they were going to start getting more incidents than they were before. Same with the self-service tickets. Are they going to get more work orders, more changes than they did before? But actually, that number hasn't grown. What has happened is they're actually getting the tickets quicker. They're able to, they're getting the incidents quicker so that they can solve the problem much faster. And they're getting the correct tickets, the correct work orders through self-service assigned to them versus a ticket that may have come to them that really should have gone to another group. So we've stayed pretty steady on the number of tickets whether it be an incident, a work order, or a change that go to the support groups. But the key is they're getting that information quicker, so they can act on it much faster and address the request, no matter what it is, much quicker.
So the benefit is mostly here for the end user in the organization, which is probably the big volume of people rather than the support staff. So you give
our
your employees a much better service.
Yes, and our associates outnumber our IT staff probably 10 to 1 in terms of numbers.
Yeah.
So yeah, this provides much better customer satisfaction to the end user, to the associates who are submitting these requests, because they're getting what they need much quicker, whether it's access to a system, software on their desktop, or an incident resolved.
What's happened to the level 1 service desk people? Are they get less work as well, it sounds like?
So they definitely are receiving less calls, but now they can focus on the higher priority calls, the more important things that are coming into them versus these tickets that they do nothing with, which is noise to them when they get something that doesn't impact them or they can't help resolve. They can focus on knowledge articles, and that's where we're kind of moving now that we're freeing them up from some of this work effort, asking them, because they own the majority of our knowledge articles today. Yeah. So they are heavily involved in our knowledge management processes as we move forward toward come around.
Has that impacted the retention of those people? I mean, it's kind of a pretty boring job to answer the same question again and again. I guess they get a little bit more interesting job now.
Correct. So yeah, they're definitely getting involved in more high priority, more complex type calls, and which, as you said, answering the phone is not the most exciting job in the world. But if you've got something new or something that's a high priority, it's a little bit more exciting and kind of gives them a little bit more joy in their day, for sure.
Perfect. Thanks a lot for this slide. I think it's very good.
So this slide kind of just summarizes the last couple of slides as we talk about efficiency goals from 2022 through the end of this year. So we've seen, on average, an increase of 200% in our self-service requests over that time period. Same thing with the auto routing incidents, decrease of calls by almost 20% to customer support. And again, through our service request center, we are promoting the top 21 knowledge articles. And we continually look at those knowledge articles to make sure that they're current and that the relevant ones are being promoted through our service request center. But we didn't stop there. So we wanted to continually evolve our service request center. And when we became educated and got the digital workplace studio pages, we're able to utilize them to greatly improve our service request center. We're able to create multiple pages on the service request center, segregating out our service request logically and providing some additional information that we weren't able to before. So now we've got a home page, we've got an about page where we'll put documentation related to the service request center and service requests. We've got a page dedicated to incidents and self-help, a page for non-IT requests. So these are requests that may go into Helix, but majority of those are fulfilled outside of Helix in other systems. But again, with the goal of a single place for I need something, we were able to create this non-IT request page with multiple requests that are fulfilled outside of IT. We've got our IT service request page where, hey, I'm asking an IT group for new functionality or something new within the services they provide. And then a page for equipment, software, or access. So I need something to do my job. The value that we've realized by this continued evolution is one of the things we've done is we've moved the My Activity to the homepage. So now if I am a manager and I need to approve a request, I don't have to go find it. It's now available to me on the homepage of the Service Request Center. So it's a lot easier to find what I need to do. And that has helped us address approvals much quicker, again, moving things along. More intuitive self-service search through the segregation of pages. We've increased our self-help opportunities. One thing we are looking to do in the future is self-healing opportunities. And I've actually submitted an idea through the BMC pages to allow the ability to run scripts from the Service Request Center. For example, a lot of problems can be resolved by clearing cache in your browser. So wouldn't it be great to have a button on the Service Request Center that you can click that will automatically go and clear your cache for you? Today, it's a knowledge article that says go here, 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 and here, but we want the ability to click the button, have it clear the cache, and solve the problem for the customer right away. The auto routing incidents that I talked about, and then the ability to create a virtual service desk appointment. Our company is, from an IT perspective, all remote, and our business side have a hybrid work from home, work in the office. So it's very important for them, if they need the help of a tech to fix something on their system, they can create this virtual service desk appointment and get the help they need when they're available. So I wanted to show just a couple screenshots of what our Service Request Center looks like. So again, this is the menu showing the various pages that we've got available to our customers on our Service Request Center. And if you're familiar with Digital Workplace, service requests can be entitled to the appropriate groups. So if I'm an underwriter on the business side, I may not see some of the requests that are on these pages because I'm not entitled to see those, and I wouldn't need to see those. So we've definitely taken advantage of that functionality. So we, again, reduce the noise of requests that the customers don't need to see on these various pages. This is a screenshot of our incidents and self-help portal. One of the things we liked with the studio pages is the ability to add some color, add some images to liven it up a little bit. So you can see we've got a header up here with some color, some images. We've got our general customer support incident. We've got the make an appointment for the virtual service desk. We've got our auto routing incidents here in the center, and then our self-help resources. Again, these are the top knowledge articles that are used. Again, the goal is customers come out here and they utilize these knowledge articles, solve the problem themselves, and they don't have to call customer support. This is what our IT service-related requests page looks like. So again, it's broken up into different categories, but it's very clear what you're coming to this page to request, whether it's application, data, reporting, infrastructure type requests. And this is a shot of our make an appointment. So again, this is for the creation of a virtual service desk appointment. Customer comes in, they select the location, which is typically hybrid. They put in a description, they choose the date, they hit submit. So this is some great functionality that BMC has offered that we've definitely taken advantage of, and we're continuing to increase the usage of this to other types of requests.
Can I ask one thing on that first page, actually, if you the one with the green banner at the top, you have the knowledge articles as buttons down there, right?
Correct.
If people need other knowledge articles, they search at the top there, or where do they get those?
So today they'll go up to where it says, "Hi Charles, how can I help?" And they can type in, "I'm having problems printing," or "I need this," or whatever it might be, and it will pull up the relevant knowledge articles for them to utilize. It will also pull up related service requests if that's what they're looking for. But as I'll talk to on a future slide, we are looking to deploy the Employee Navigator, which will help with that as well.
Do you know if they are using that search bar at the top, or if they only click on the ones below? Because it is, of course, interesting to understand how this layout works, and if because you have buttons underneath, they only use those, or if they actually know they can find other stuff up there as well.
So we don't have a way to track where they're clicking, but we've educated folks on how to use the search bar, as well as where to find these knowledge articles. So my assumption would be if they're not finding it below, they'll go up to the search bar and search for what they need.
Okay. We have Google Analytics integration you could use to know what they click on.
That would be fair.
We can look at that maybe later on if you want.
And we definitely would love that, because we do get questions. My boss is always asking, what's being used, what's not being used. And if Google Analytics can assist with that, that'll help us keep the knowledge articles current that show up on this page here, as well as other things that we're looking to accomplish.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks.
Cool. Good stuff. So to summarize some of the achievements that we've been able to realize over the last few years since 2022, self-help. Again, we're enabling our customers to resolve instant issues on their own through the use of knowledge articles, reducing those calls to customer support. So taking that low-hanging fruit and allowing those customers to solve problems on their own, allowing customer support to focus on more important incidents that are coming in. Continued automation through digital workplace, whether it be in Innovation Suite or the service catalog or the studio pages, excuse me. Automating our manual processes through new service requests, which in the end boosts efficiency from the customer and from the end user, or from the requester and the fulfiller of those service requests. Cost savings, so through auto routing incidents, the increased automation, the self-help, the reduction of calls to customer support has helped lower our support and operational costs. And time efficiency. Automation, speeds up our request fulfillment through those workflows. Through those workflows, directing the tickets to the right group the first time versus using the incorrect service request and having it go to the wrong group, which saves time, reducing unnecessary process stops. So again, those workflows direct the ticket, no matter what it is, change, incident, work order, to the appropriate groups the first time. Then some of our service catalog initiatives that we're working on or continue to work on, expand the automation capabilities by increasing the auto routing incidents. So we are constantly looking at the incidents that are coming in to customer support and identifying new candidates for auto routing, so that again we can reduce and eliminate those calls and those incidents going to customer support, and we can direct them directly to the appropriate support group. Want to continue to increase our self-help resources and self-healing. Again, as I mentioned, it would be great if we could have that button that says clear cache, and they don't have to follow the steps. It automatically clears cache for them or resets their password. There's things that customer support sees on a regular basis, that if we can automate that and put that in that self-healing power in the end user's hands, all the better. Continue to drive adoption of our automated solutions through, again, auto routing, self-help, self-healing, and then deployment of AI capabilities to all users. So again, we are actively working on Helix GPT and 4 agents that BMC has offered, 4 of the many agents that are now available. But the one that will provide the best and greatest capabilities to all of our users is the Employee Navigator, which will be available through our Service Request Center, where they can submit requests through the Employee Navigator without even having to know which request it is that they need. They can get the status of their requests. They can look for knowledge articles, again, all through the chat, which again, as more companies and more external Amazons and all of those of the world are moving toward AI, customers are used to that, are comfortable with that, and we were finding that the younger generation, they don't want to talk to anybody. They just want to text. They just want to chat. So the Employee Navigator will definitely be of value to them as well. So these are just a couple of the things that are on our long-term roadmap from a BMC Helix perspective as it relates to the service catalog. So before we open it up to questions, I'm going to turn it back over to Sam for the last couple slides.
Thank you, Chaz. And I have got quite a few questions coming in, and one that's been come via email, but we'll go through that shortly. So just a reminder, and I'm suspecting most of the people that have joined today, you will be in at least America. So the next roadshow for you that's coming up, if you want to meet any of our PMs that will be attending in person, is New York. That's on November the 6th. The next one we are actually going to be at will be Stockholm. Kath, who's also helping answer questions as well as speaking with Chaz, he will be doing a user group actually for digital workplace in Stockholm. So if you do have any colleagues that are based in the Nordics, feel free to either reach out to him directly or myself, and we can give you all the details for the roadshow. I will actually put that in the thank you email as well. So it's just a bit of a plug to say we're having a lot of attendance from all of our road shows. We've done now 3 of them. We're now on the Stockholm, so we'll be going right through to almost the end of the year, where our final one will be in Frankfurt. We would love to see you there. If any of you are also connected to any of our sales teams, most of the sales people will also attend those as well, and a lot of our partners. So love to see you there. Next slide, I think, Chaz, is it our Q&A one? Or our references, that will remind me. So we've got quite a few digital workplace links. Some of you have already been on some of these webinars, but not everyone can make them. So I've just published the one for Digital Workplace 25.3. So that was run with Carl or Kath, who's on here now, and his colleague Deepak. Those links I will add into these slides, so you've got those if you missed that one. That was live last week. And then all of the other webinars that we've been doing over the last few months, I've put into here as a reference, and anything else right up for the last 3.5+ years. If you do want to look into some older content, that is also on the webinar page of communities as well. So really good content here for you. I will be working with our PMs and future customers for content, not just for digital workplace, but as we start going more into GPT, you'll find a lot of useful content on there. I think that moves us on to the Q&A now, if I'm right in remembering, Chaz. Can you check the next slide?
One more slide, if it would advance for me. There we go.
Yes, so we've also got our Gartner Peer Insights. So many of you that if you have come to the previous roadshows or attended any of the other webinars, you'll see often we will ask for your feedback. So we would love to hear from you. Whilst we don't give the gift cards, they come directly from Gartner. We have different studies that are in the mix at the moment. Some of them are AI Ops, the others are Helix platform, and then we have the one that's specific to IT service management and digital workplace. We're using these links here. So we'd love to get your feedback. The QR codes are there if you want to scan them now. Otherwise, we'll be sharing that out as well. And I think that is my final slide. So before we go to the questions, I did have one actually from Anthony that came through on email. And I think he's still on the call before we go into the actual Q&A. So Anthony, can you hear us? I've just unmuted you.
Yes, I can hear you.
Hello, I would like to give you the privilege to ask your question that you wanted something for Chaz to show. I don't know if he's in the position to do it, but do you want to ask your question you sent to me on email?
Yeah, definitely. Thank you, Samantha. So Chaz, I thank you for the demo too. Great work that you guys have done at your spot. My question was regarding the help desk appointment functionality. It was twofold. So first part of that question is, what's the administrative effort behind that? Do you have to maintain calendars, et cetera, things like that? And then my follow-up was based off something you mentioned about leveraging that functionality within a service request. Not sure if you've implemented that already, but looking forward to what you can share on both of those.
So can you ask your second question again?
Yeah, I thought I heard you mention that you're going to be leveraging that same help desk appointment scheduling functionality within a service request itself.
Yeah. So your first question in terms of administration is very little.
Okay.
You go in and you choose basically what I showed. Let's see if I can go. I mean, this is pretty much, these 3 fields are pretty much it. When you get to the date, you don't have to maintain calendars, but you basically can configure it to say what days are these appointments going to be available. Because we didn't want this, we made this available, I think, on Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays between certain times. So when you configure the appointment, you set that, and you can also set how many can be done in a certain in a time period. So we can only have 2 virtual services appointments per hour. So when the customer comes in and chooses the date, it'll only show them what's available. So if you've already got 2 virtual service appointments between 9 and 10 a.m., that's not going to be available to that particular associate. So, and then on the back end, when they hit submit, you can have it create a work order, or you can have it create an incident. And then it also creates a calendar appointment to block out that whoever's requesting it, their calendar for the time that they selected. So configuration, very quick, very easy, and I don't think we've really had to do any maintenance on it since we deployed this well over a year ago.
Thank you.
And then your second question, I believe we are looking to use this for projectors. So to reserve a projector, so that would create a work order to the appropriate team to deliver or provide the projector, which I don't know why people still use those. We've got TVs in every room, but to get a projector reserved for whatever they need.
Got it. Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you for your questions. Okay, so if we go back to the Q&A, we've got a question from Arsha. Do all requests, the original version, go to the one service team to triage and sent on to the right team?
So when it came to incidents, yes, before we had these auto routing incidents, every incident went to customer support to either resolve if they could through first call resolution or route to the appropriate support team to resolve. Now with this auto routing and with the after hours, those go directly to the appropriate teams, and customer support doesn't even see those anymore. They don't have to resolve them. They don't even touch them anymore.
I've just got one question around that, Chaz, and thank you for the presentation, by the way. At the moment, what percentage of your requests that you've got there, I think you've got about 100, go across to auto route, and how many still come to the service desk for triage? Are you through that whole process now, or are you still going through that process of finding out which requests need to go to which team and kind of mapping it out and forwarding it on?
I think 20% of our service requests are auto routing incidents. So those will go directly to the support team. I have those numbers somewhere in terms of how many go to the customer support versus support teams, but I don't have it readily available.
Yeah, just rough. Yeah. I mean, more anecdotal than anything else.
Probably 20% now are go directly to the support teams. And you had a second part to your question, I think.
It was just around what percentage actually auto route, and then how much you were actually through your exercise to map. So right. You obviously have an exercise you went through where you mapped all the requests across to the right teams, and obviously that's quite an intensive process. You have to go speak to the right people, find out which teams actually deal with the request in the end.
And not everybody wanted it. Not everybody wanted it.
I can imagine that. Yeah.
My direct. So we're not. I don't think that ever ends. Right, because as an IT organization, we are deploying new things all the time. So my incident manager, her job, one of her responsibilities is identifying trends and seeing the incidents at customer support. All they do is reassign it, and then we identify those, and then she'll pull a meeting with the appropriate service manager to have the conversation. Hey, of the 100 incidents that you got in the last 6 months, 75 are common. They're very similar type things, and their customer support just sends them over to you. So let's work on gathering the requirements and building that auto routing incident. Again, some of them push back, but thankfully my director has said, nope, we're doing this. So unless you've got a viable reason why we can't do it now, we're going to do it. And
high level buy-in.
Yeah.
So just one more question then, and then I'll allow everyone else to go in. Your user interface, the front page. I mean, obviously it's a continuous exercise, right? Like everything else, we need to tweak it all the time. We're doing the same because we've got the front end running. Ours is called a digital workplace, but the concept is exactly the same. So we're constantly tweaking it as well. I mean, are there one or two things that you've seen that have really made a massive difference where you think, you know what, we should have done this the first time round, and it would have made it so much easier for people to find the right option?
I think one is better naming convention for the service request. So that tile, right? You can only put so much verbiage into that tile, making sure that's clear and not confusing in any way to the end user, because no one's going to read that second page. When you click on the service request and it takes you that definition or that landing page, no one's reading that. So you need to make sure that that front page is very clear. And two, and it wasn't available to us when we first deployed Digital Workplace Service Request Center, again, what we branded it, is the ability to have the various studio pages. That came, a year or so later after, we first deployed this. So if that was available, that would have made life a lot easier to segregate our request by type instead of having to scroll up, down, left, right. So those are probably the two biggest kind of lessons learned. And hey, if we would have been able to do this, it probably would have gone better initially.
Yeah. Great, thank you. Yeah, it's a good point actually. Yeah, they're the kind of things we're looking at the moment, but it's nice to hear that, as a confirmation. So thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for your questions. Okay, next question is, how is auto routing of instance handled directly on the DWP service?
Yes. So they're a typical digital workplace service request where we've got the questions and the configuration behind the scenes. It'll route based on the service request that they chose, the auto routing instance that they chose. It routes, instead of going to customer support, it routes to the appropriate IT support team. So it's all built into the routing roles and the workflow for those 20 service requests that generate incidents directly to the support teams.
I see that actually there was another question, Chaz, further down from Daniel asking about the auto routing and mentioning around Helix workflow, or is that something out of DWP, which I believe you've answered. I mean, are you using Helix workflow as well?
So that's all done in digital workplace, and then it feeds into Helix ITSM. So it creates the appropriate incident, work order, or change request. Well, in this case, auto routing, it creates the appropriate incident and routes it directly to the support team, who then fulfills it through Helix ITSM. Hope that answers his question.
Daniel, if you're still on and you want to get any further clarity, feel free to come off mute. He is still here if he's got any questions. I just happened to see it was to do with auto routing. Hey, Daniel.
Hey, yeah. So I was just curious because we've used some auto routing with Helix, and I was just wondering if that was being generated out of DWP or if it was actually using the auto routing feature of Helix. Is more of what I was asking.
Okay. Yeah. So DWP, Service Request Center in our case, is the front end. It's the customer facing. So those service requests are built in DWP and then route into Helix ITSM appropriately.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yep.
Thanks, Daniel. Okay, and we've got a couple of questions actually from Thomas. I don't know if Thomas is still here. Let me check. Yes, he is. Thomas, did you want to ask your questions live as well? Because you've got 2 questions in the chat. Give you the opportunity to come off mute if you can.
Yes. Hi there, and thank you for the presentation.
Yep.
The first question is regarding the icons in the tiles. They seem to be the same for all the services in one section.
That was
a matter of corporate identity design rules, or what's the reason for this?
Simplicity. With the number of service requests, we didn't want to have to come up with an icon and get it. Everything that we do on there, since it's associate facing, we have to go through and get approval from our corporate communications department. So we felt it was easier, maybe the easy route to, when we first deployed this, okay, here's the various sections, here's the icon we want to use. Is that good? Versus 90 to 100 service requests, having to have 90 to 100 different icons, and every time we create a new service request, which we've got new ones coming, we're retiring old ones, having to go back and get approval for the icon. So we took the simple route and just did it by category.
Okay.
But you can. I mean, the capability is there to have an icon for a different icon for everyone, right? But
yeah, I was just wondering, because we as humans are, in the first place, look at pictures and icons before we start to read the text. That was the question.
Right.
Okay. Second question. When you have auto routing for incidents, for example, from my understanding, you don't have a single point of contact concept for the end users. So do they directly communicate with the engineers without
if necessary? Yeah. So if necessary, if they need to talk to whoever on the support side, if they need to talk to them, yeah, they'll reach out to those support groups. They are the business units are already very familiar with their contacts within the appropriate IT support group. So
Okay.
most of our business units have a corresponding IT group that supports the applications that they use. So they're already familiar with who to talk to in those groups, whether it be the service manager, the architect, the SME, the subject matter expert. They're
Yeah.
already aware. And also through the increased visibility of the status that they can get through digital workplace of their incidents, they can see who it is working on that. So they can reach out directly to whoever that engineer, whoever that developer is that is working on their particular incident to ask questions. They can ask questions through digital workplace, through the request. They can post questions there as well. So that's, yeah. So there is, for those auto routing incidents, there is not the single point of contact through customer support. But again, those groups that are using those auto routing incidents are already familiar with the appropriate people to go talk to.
Okay, interesting. From my experience, it's not very common here. Okay,
Okay.
thank you.
We got lucky, I guess.
I think so. Yes, thank you.
Yep.
Thank you for your questions. Okay, that's all our questions so far. Does anybody else have any questions? If you do, either put them into the Q&A or you can also just come off of mute. We've got a couple minutes left, and while we're just giving people the opportunity, Chaz, I know you've just pulled up your connecting with you. Do you want to just do a call to action?
Yeah, if anyone has any questions, wants to dive into this further, please feel free to reach out, and I'm more than happy to have a conversation with you, your teams, on what we do and the lessons we've learned, because that's how we all get better.
Absolutely. And I think it's great that you can share your story. I will certainly just say, if anybody else is keen, whether you're a partner or a customer, we would love to hear how you're doing things, not necessarily just with digital workplace, but the BMC Helix technology. Feel free to reach out to me. My contact details will be on the thank you email as well. And I'm sure, Chaz, now this is your second one, we'll be back for a third.
Sure. I think Oscar has a question.
Yes, I've just seen that pop in there. So Oscar, if you're still there, do you want to come off mute and speak live? That you'd gone from the old portal to the new portal. What extent was UX involved in the redesign, just from a quick wins, and the most beneficial for more effective and robust portal?
So we definitely involved our marketing group. We involved a gentleman in our web portals group that deals with, and I'm going to say it wrong, but it's the from a colorblind and ADA perspective, the Disabilities Act, and making sure that the font sizes, the font colors, were all within whatever those standards are. But again, we involved our marketing group. We also pulled in some of our business users to get feedback from them in terms of how we logically broke up the various pages, what we named service requests. So we definitely, as we did this redesign, it wasn't my group doing it in a vacuum. We pulled in various groups, corporate communications, marketing, the business side, our web portals team. We pulled them all in as we redesigned this to make sure that we were addressing, the needs of our customers, whether it be from a disabilities perspective or just from a logical usage perspective. And then again, marketing and corp com from an approval perspective to make sure we were following corporate standards.
Thank you, Chaz. I've just written back to him in the comment section. I think he may have a problem unmuting properly and being able to speak to us. Oscar, do let us know if that's answered your question. And actually, before we do close, because we've got a couple of minutes, while we've got the privilege of having Kath on here, Kath, was there anything else from the presentation today that you wanted to add, just in the context from a product standpoint?
I'm really curious to see how you're going to use Helix GPT and in Employee Navigator. I think you will get another boost in terms of people doing self-help. That's what I've seen with other customers. When you have good knowledge articles behind the scene and you use AI to really extract the knowledge and present it in a good way, you get a lot of benefits from that.
Yeah, we're very excited to move to GPT for Employee Navigator, for Service Collaborator, from a customer support perspective.
Yeah.
The Insight Finder and the Swarmer are the 4 that we're going live with, hopefully in the next month or so.
Perfect. Yeah, excited to see that. Maybe we do one on that in
Perfect.
6 months or something, because then you know a little bit more what you get out of it.
Mark me down, Sam.
And for everybody's knowledge, we have a kind of program ongoing with the first 100 customers that want to go live. You need to commit to go live. We support you specifically for learning Helix GPT and how to get it started quickly. So if you are interested, reach out to your local contacts in BMC, and we'll try to get you onto that program. I think the list is pretty long already, so if you are ready to do it early, the higher priority you get. Because we really want customers to get benefits from it. And as product managers, we want to hear how it's going and what we can improve for you over the time. So that's very important for me.
Yep. It's a great program. We're a part of it.
Okay, thanks a lot.
Thank you. And finally, Brenda, I know you've been very quiet on the background in case we had any sales related or license questions. As Chaz's account manager, is there anything that you wanted to share before we close?
Only to echo and thank you, Chad. You did a fantastic job. Just to echo what we were just saying about our Fast Start program, it is a phenomenal opportunity for customers. I have another one that I've been working with who recently went live and saw immediate results with just the decrease in calls to the service desk and the ticket resolution. So it is something to definitely meet with your account team on and see what options are there for you.